This is Swiss and Chips, your British guide to Switzerland. Hello, you're listening to Swiss and Chips. I'm Jo Fay.
And I'm Simon.
And today we're going to be talking about learning Swiss German with ABC SRF 3.
Woohoo!
If you don't know what that is yet, hang in. We're going to be explaining everything in this episode.
Yes, and every week we talk here about the highs and lows of moving to a new country, funny misunderstandings between the Swiss and Brits, and the dark and bright sides of living in Switzerland. So this is what we usually talk about. We help you move to Switzerland, we remove fears, and we help you to settle in.
Indeed we do. And if you haven't yet joined the Swiss and Chips community for additional content and member chat, you can subscribe for free on swissandchips.com.
Exactly, and thanks to everyone who has done that so far. We are always happy to get, questions and every, comment there. We read and enjoy. But now, first, before we start, let's talk about what else is on the menu today.
Yes, indeed. So we've got listener feedback first of all. We've had a very, very interesting email from someone. We'll read that to you first of all. Then we've got Swiss Bytes coming up, which are very tasty indeed. Then we'll be talking about the very traditional and very fun Swiss-German radio game, ABC SRF 3. And then at the end of the episode today, we'll have our listener poll.
Also, we will try to add chapter marks, don't we? We did that in the last episode and we'll do it again. So in case you are bored of one of the chapters, just skip to the next one.
Like this bit, for example.
Exactly.
Just kidding. This bit's great.
Right. Listener feedback. Cathy.
Yes, Cathy, thank you so much for your email. We loved receiving that. It was super nice to read that you enjoyed our episode so much.
Yeah, it was just amazing. She's so nice and she writes us extremely nice emails. I'll start and you can continue. Mm-hmm. She and her husband are basically the reverse of us, she said. Mm-hmm. So she is Swiss and he is British/South African.
Mm-hmm. Nice combo.
Yeah. And she wrote
that they've got Swiss flags on their balcony already for the 1st of August. Good for you, Cathy, because we were talking about that in our last episode in case somebody missed it. And she said they were the only two idiots last year wearing their Swiss flag T-shirts in the middle of Schaffhausen.
Yes, I think it's quite interesting because she said, we learned the hard way, the Rheinfall fireworks for the 1st of August take place on the last day of July. And I kept this in here because I thought it's important because quite in a few places they have the fireworks at the 1st of July, for example, in Biel as well.
On the last day of July?
Last day of July, yes.
What?
So if you go to a specific place, look it up.
Are you kidding me?
I don't exactly know the reason. I think it's because so you can go on different places and maybe also because the 1st of August is a day off. Bank holiday.
But only in Switzerland would they have the National Day celebrations the day before.
Yeah, it's just to organize everything well.
Simon, come on. This is such a joke.
Continue.
That's actually ridiculous. And she said that they proudly fly their Swiss flag. We should be allowed to show our identity. Surely if you talk about mental health, they say know your own identity, what you want, and stand up for what you believe. So surely we can do the same for our flag and our country. Anyhow, she says, thank you for your amazing and funny podcasts, which they love. And for me, the saying, which we talked about last time at length, thank you, would be everyone hops on the bandwagon. Yes, I think that is a good translation, actually.
Yeah. So thank you very much again, Cathy, and to everyone else who has joined so far and sends us feedback. Now, Swiss Bytes. I found...
It's a good sound effect, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Thank you.
I saw this article on SRF, maybe as a disclaimer. Joe and me, we both work at the SRG, which is the Swiss Broadcasting Corporation, and Indeed. SRF is part of it. But I saw this article and it's quite interesting. It's about how to say things in different situations by region, and it's about dialect. Yeah. And so you can look up and, it's interactive. You can see how they used to say it and how they say it now because, dialects change a little bit.
Over time,
and you can also see in different regions what to say. So I thought that's quite interesting.
I found that really funny because, for example, I'm just saying hello quite often.
Yeah.
And
that's a good thing to say. It's it's
Hello.
polite enough. If you don't know, can you, how do you say, can you duzen or sitzen?
Yeah, should you be like polite or informal?
Yeah, exactly. So this is
Sometimes I just can't be bothered to say like "Guten Morgen." It's just too much in my opinion.
It's just
I'm
nice.
I'm a younger
Morgen.
person. I just don't want to say.
I'm a young person. I also say morgen. Hello, guten Morgen.
But if you look at this article,
even in English, I say morning.
Yeah, in English, I might be more likely to say morning.
So in English, you're older than in German. Is that what you're telling me?
Or I just say, hiya, or something like that. But, it's so much to say good morning, isn't it? But look, people are more likely to say that here. This is maybe a topic for another episode. But anyhow, then I thought, maybe people just assume that I'm from a small place in Canton Uri. What's the conclusion?
Very nice. Also, I will link a second article in the show notes, and there it's also from SRF, but it's also interactive, and you can click on specific places and listen to how they used to say things and how they say things now, and you can listen to it.
Exactly.
I thought this may be quite interesting. It's quite fun. Anyhow, now to the topic of the day, and we blend it together with learning Swiss German with Swiss and Chips, because it's learning Swiss German with ABC SRF 3.
Yep.
So we've got quite a lot about learning Swiss German on our own podcast, so I'll also link a few episodes there. For example, 10 Swiss German phrases you need to know, or how to learn Swiss German, or should you take a Swiss German class and things like that. But now we make a step forward.
Yes, we do.
With this very traditional game.
Yes.
And maybe first I explain the game. I try, and I will probably sweat for the next 15 minutes. We've been planning
this episode for roughly a year, because it's kind of
complicated.
We said
we're going to do it.
To translate into English.
Yeah.
But now we're ready.
We haven't planned it, but we said one day we'll do it. So today is the big day. Yes. Anyway, so my hands are already sweating. Isn't there a song? My palms are sweating. From
I don't
whom is
know
that song? I'll find out.
Geschnürli or something?
No, it's an English song.
I don't know.
It must be Eminem or something. Oh, probably everyone is shaking their head now. Anyway, let's go back to. Did you just make?
I went. Yeah. Okay. I don't know that song.
Right. Let's go back to the game. So the game is it's
on the radio.
Yes, it's every day on the radio.
Monday to Friday.
It's in Swiss German. And it's 45 seconds it lasts. And the moderator asks the person who calls in questions.
Yes.
And they call question after question after question. And the person who calls has to answer within the 45 seconds 12 correct answers.
Yes, or they do as many as they can.
Yes, as many as they can, but if they get 12, they win. They win something. I can't remember. I think it's a certificate, I think.
Don't they go into like
it's
a
so
sort of,
traditional
like a Champions League of like...
No, I think it's so traditional that a certificate is all you want. You want to have a certificate of, I took part in the game and I made it.
I see.
No, you get probably like a voucher or something. I don't exactly
There's so much shouting in our house by the end of the game. I've never heard that bit.
Yeah, it's about the certificate mainly.
Right, good.
Right, so what they do is they ask questions and they give you a letter first before the 45 seconds start. They say, for example, all the answers you have to give, it's always one word. They start with the letter A, for example. Yeah. And then they ask something like...
They give you a clue.
They give you something like an animal eating a banana. Oh, no, that's not in English. That would be a monkey. So the letter would be M, not A, like Affe.
I knew. Right.
So the letter would be M and they ask you...
Monkey!
Yes, exactly.
And then the next question would be...
Yes.
Something you wipe your feet on before you come into the house. A mat!
Exactly. And
God, I'm good at this.
If you don't know the answer, you can say...
Pass!
Weiter. Yes.
Yeah. Next one.
Next. And... Yeah, so it's in Swiss German, so it's even for Swiss German people sometimes they say, I didn't understand the question because, the dialect might be hard to understand.
That's when it gets really funny.
Yes, or also sometimes it's hard to say the answer because sometimes within the dialect it might be not exactly the same letter, but it's rare. It's rare, but it can happen.
Yeah.
Right. I hope it's more or less clear how the game works, and why we talk about this game is because it's so traditional. It exists forever and ever. I remember when I was a child that we used to play it before we went to school, and people do it still. It's so traditional and is running. Yes?
I would like to say this is basically the Swiss radio equivalent of Popmaster with Ken Bruce on Radio 2. It's
Probably,
a long-running radio quiz that everybody loves.
Yes, and it also exists as board games or card games,
which we've got.
They've got different. Yes, they've got different ones, and the publisher of the game said it's one of the most sold games in the Swiss-German part of Switzerland because obviously everyone has it. They sold more than 300,000.
Oh,
in such a small part, it's quite like every household probably has one.
Nice.
And it's on every day, every morning at 7:50 in the morning on SRF 3. We can link that as well. And on Saturday, it's 1 hour later. It's at 8:50, so you can have a lie-in.
That's so Swiss. And also, what I would like to say from my point of view, because this is an important thing for people who are learning Swiss German, basically, when I first moved to this country, which is now 14 long years ago, time flew, obviously, because I was having a great time, but it's still a long time. First time I listened to the radio in Swiss German, I thought it was absolute nonsense. Like, what is this gobbledygook? What the hell is this noise? Turn that rubbish off. It's nothing personal, but it just sounded like nonsense, right?
Maybe you listened to the wrong dialect.
I was in Zurich. Anyway, that's not the point. But then, slowly I got to distinguish that there were different words, not just one big long sort of sound happening. And then I discovered this game, and it is actually quite a fun way to try and learn some words.
And
once you can understand a bit of the language, and then it's quite a fun way to try and
by now you're really good.
Now I can say some words.
Just our daughter always screams, so you can't really.
Once she hears me shouting, she also wants to shout. And if you listen back online, you could even pause it. So you could listen to the question a bit longer and give yourself a bit more time.
Yeah.
Because if you need to think and the other person says the word before you get to say it, then
it's already the next question coming in.
Exactly. So it can get a bit difficult. Yeah. So top tip. There you go.
And then a last side note of the history of the game. It used to be called DRS3, ABC DRS3, because the radio station was called DRS3. So the name of the game made much more sense. It was ABCD RS3, and then the name of the radio station changed to SRF3.
Yes, I know. Oh, yeah.
So what to do about the name? And then there was a big discussion because, what to do.
A crisis broke out.
And then they gave several solutions to the public to discuss and to vote.
Like Boaty McBokeface.
And then in the end, they called it ABC SRF3, which obviously, if you listen to it today, you think, that doesn't really make sense.
No, you think that makes perfect sense.
That doesn't make sense. It makes sense ABCD. How do you do the alphabet in English?
Yeah, but
SRF3.
If you think, wait, ABCD, it's still RS. So that's still nonsense.
Yes, but it's the beginning.
Now it's just one letter less.
Yeah, but it's the beginning.
If you've never known it any other way, it's still fine. ABC.
All right.
SRF.
You can hear my one piece of my heart is still, hanging off a flap because it's broken because the name just doesn't work. It's fine. I get used to it.
I think the name is great.
Right.
Shall we?
Now,
to the
important bit. My palms are sweaty. That's the sentence. Let's go back to the song.
I think that you might think it's a line from an Eminem song, as in, my palms are sweaty.
Yes, that is.
I don't know if that's an actual line because I don't know the lyrics to any Eminem raps.
All right, someone will tell us, hopefully.
Maybe Cathy.
What we prepared for today is to play the game live. I translated from the Swiss game, I translated the question to English.
Good.
So you can give me the answer in English, which is obviously then the wrong letter because not always the same.
Got it.
But I will give you then the Swiss German answer, and there it will be always the same letter. And what we have to say, there is in Swiss German, it's the letters, but it can also be in this game the letter sh, which is SCH.
Oh my God. Okay, the sound.
Do you think people are still with me? No,
I've got no idea.
The letter is sh.
That's not a letter, it's a sound.
Well, A is also a sound, but it's also a letter.
But in this case, sh is not a letter, it's just a sound.
Yeah,
right?
it's 3 letters, but it's the beginning letter of a word.
Cool.
You know, a sound letter. Right, yeah.
I can't wait till we try and teach our daughter the alphabet.
You get on what I mean if I give you the answer.
Yeah, man, got it.
Right, so you're ready. You give it as fast as possible, but obviously, you know, I have to give you the Swiss German answer. And
okay, I'm answering it in English.
Has 366 days.
Yeah.
Has 366 days.
Leap year?
Yes. Chocolate stick.
What? Mikado? Is that right?
Well, what's this chocolate stick called in English? Oh, maybe it is a chocolate stick.
What's the chocolate stick?
The Schokistängeli.
The chocolate stick isn't called anything in English because we don't have them. It would be a chocolate finger from Cadbury's.
Okay, so chocolate finger.
Chocolate
Then
finger, right.
Notice with your nose.
Smell?
Art made by paper with holes.
The thing is, the clues are also really Swiss German.
Well, yes, I translate the 1-to-1 so people understand what the question would be like.
Art made with paper with holes. Origami? Or is it this Schnitt?
Yes, it's this Schnitt.
Paper cutting.
Yes. Walks around although they are napping.
Sleepwalking.
KO in a specific board game.
What?
KO.
What's that?
Knocked out in a specific board game.
Knocked out in a specific board game?
If you don't know, you can say...
No, well, hang on. Knocked out in a specific board game.
You lose too much time.
I don't know.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Next question.
Sun cream who talks too much. Blah. Oh, no, it's not sun cream. Someone. Sorry, the question is a bit far away.
Someone who talks too much. Simon.
Someone who talks too much, blah, blah.
Simon.
Okay.
A chatterbox.
Yeah, something like that. Right, I'm all sweaty now. Let's go back. I give you the answers.
Thank you, that was great.
Has 366 days, that was correct.
Yes.
Leap year, in German it's a Schaltjahr.
Are you doing High German or Swiss German?
Swiss German.
Okay.
Schaltjahr.
Nice.
Chocolate stick is Schokistängeli.
Nice.
Notice with your nose is schmecke. Art made by paper with holes. Schere Schnitt.
Yeah, that's it. Schere Schnitt. Nice.
We can maybe link that so people know what it is, or is it clear what that is?
That's not clear. We're going to have to link that. It's a special Swiss
I didn't know.
form.
But as a kid, you don't make a Schere Schnitt.
We do sometimes snowflakes, but nothing really more than that.
Well, as a kid, we also don't make. Right,
I know, but it's a traditional Swiss thing, those special ones.
Walk around although they are napping is Schlafwandle.
Cute.
KO in a specific board game is Schachmatt, checkmate.
Okay.
You know, I think this is a good example because the question is always a little bit, you know, you have to think beyond
normal boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Someone who talks too much, blah, blah, is a Schnurri.
Schnurri.
And I specifically get that, took that example as well because I thought you would say my name. Anyway, so that was it.
Yay!
Very good. And that's roughly how this game works, except it's like this. Has got 366 days. And then, no.
Yeah.
Next, chocolate stick. Next. You know, it's very much.
Yeah. And there's a sort of ticking sound, isn't there?
All right. So that was it. And then let's move on to our listener, Paul.
Oh, goody.
And last week we asked about how do you feel about national flags?
Yes.
And 36% said a flag belongs to everyone. 10% said, I don't like the politics. 18% said, my flag doesn't represent me. That's quite a lot.
Yep.
And 36% said, flags are fun.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's still quite a lot of people who said, 20% said the flags don't represent me.
Indeed.
And 10% said, I don't like the politics. So it's 30% who said something negative about it.
Indeed.
But yeah, 2/3 like it. So all good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Quick summary
I'm
there.
obviously
Divided.
pro-flags.
I would say that.
I'm pro-flags. But
Maybe also depends on your
but
your
not
flag.
too many. Pro-flags, but I wouldn't put them out all year, in front of the door. It's just not, it's too much then.
Indeed.
But first of August, for
Treat
sure.
with caution. But when you have them, enjoy them.
Exactly. And for our next episode, we also have a listener poll, which we will link in the show notes. Please go and vote so we can talk about it next time.
Vote.
The question is...
Ooh. Is it best to learn Swiss German or High German first when you move to Switzerland?
I think we have a whole episode about that, and I think it's a very interesting topic, which I highly discuss with people moving to Switzerland all the time.
What about French or Italian?
Well, we are a Swiss German podcast, so
That's true.
if you move to the French-speaking part of Switzerland, I don't think you would learn Swiss German first.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, but it's also much easier to learn French or Italian than Swiss German.
Oui.
So, oui.
Oui.
Très bien.
Ça va.
Right. So thanks a lot for listening. It was hopefully somewhat helpful and understandable. Next time, we're going to talk about...
We are going to talk about, why don't you tell us?
We're going to talk about the Swiss Knigge.
Exactly. I do know, but it's just, I didn't want to mispronounce that word.
Yeah, and you were
That would be tricky.
You wanted to be polite. It's a book about well-behavior.
Yes, about the correct behavior.
Correct behavior, yes. How to behave. For example, should you open a door for a woman, a man, or when you enter a restaurant, should you walk in front or after? And
Very interesting.
How to eat the soup.
And how to cut an apple with a knife and fork.
Yeah. So it's about Swiss rules.
God, and there are many of them.
Right, so that's gonna be next time. And again, thanks to everyone who gave us a rating so far. And also the people who commented. We also saw that many people commented, gave us a comment on iTunes, which was really nice.
Left a review, that was awesome.
Yes, a review, that was nice. And we read all of them and enjoyed all of them. That was it for today.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.